Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. 2 motorcyclists have been killed in separate smashes in the state's northwest. An elderly man crashed his bike near Smithton, while at Yolla, a tourist was killed in a hit and run. Police say they'll leave no stone unturned in the search for the driver.
It was supposed to be a trip of a lifetime. Instead, it's turned into tragedy. Emergency services attending a crash involving 2 cars and a motorcycle on the Merchants Highway at Yolla, southwest of Burnie, just before 9:30 this morning. One of the drivers was in a stolen car and fled the scene.
We haven't identified that person as of yet, but we currently have significant resources in the Yolla area, including the Westpac helicopter.
A male motorcycle rider couldn't be saved. He was from Malaysia, travelling with a group around the States, all witnessing what happened to their companion. 2 other people sustained non-life-threatening injuries, one airlifted to the Launceston General Hospital.
We have no set time frame as to when the search will finish. We will continue on as long as it takes to find our person that we're looking for.
Police described the driver as Caucasian with a slim build, around 168 centimetres tall, with dark hair and an unshaven beard.
You can be assured that Tasmania Police will be out in force on the roads over this coming holiday period, both in marked and unmarked vehicles.
It has been a horror day on our roads. A 77-year-old Elliott man killed after a motorcycle left the Bass Highway at Britton Swamp. The road toll now sits at 32 compared to 51 at the end of 2022. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
A key piece of the renewable energy transition will be Tasmania's Maros Link, according to the market operator. It's listing the multi-billion-dollar project as a priority investment in the road to reducing Australia's emissions and keeping a cap on energy prices.
On the road to a clean energy future, Maros Link is part of the lowest cost path. That's according to the Australian energy market operator as it plans for a future without coal, classifying the 250-kilometre undersea cable as urgent.
Maros again is required as an urgent investment to ensure that electricity for tomorrow can be supplied reliably, securely and affordably to the national electricity market.
Relying on Tasmanian wind and hydro battery to keep the lights on nationwide and in turn stabilise power prices.
Just like we grow more potatoes than we can eat down on the northwest coast, we're going to make more energy than we can consume, so it will become one of our most highly valued exports.
Tasmania has what the rest of the country wants and needs, which is low cost, clean and reliable electricity.
But a key part of that is getting the energy from the wind farms via the Northwest Transmission Line, a project which has been partially deferred due to cost, putting gigawatts of wind energy at risk.
We need not just Maros, but we need the generation to go with it. We need to make sure we've got enough generation in the state for our own needs to keep prices down, and of course, if we can, help the rest of the nation.
The operator warning a failure to deliver projects like Maros will result in a $17 billion hit to consumers.
Energy transition is complex and effectively the scale is enormous. But what is important is that we all need to work together if we're serious about decarbonisation.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Aurora Energy has failed to meet its regulatory obligations, issuing power bills late to nearly 50,000 people. Labor says it's unacceptable when households are already struggling with a cost of living crisis.
Tasmanians were probably double billed and potentially in some cases actually triple billed, which means that they were getting their energy bills, 2 of them at the same time and in some cases 3 of them at the same time.
Aurora has apologised for the ordeal, saying the majority of late bills are due to factors outside of its control, including delayed meter reading data. Affected customers now offered extended and flexible payment terms. Derwent Valley Mayor Michelle Dracoulis has officially withdrawn her candidacy for the seat of Lyons after it was announced she would run for the Labor Party at the next state election.
I understand the transition from being mayor to a candidate for election is a difficult one, especially when you're getting feedback from your community, and so we respect her getting that feedback and making the decision.
Labor says it's been inundated with people expressing interest to run for the party, despite the unknown date of the next election. A health program which allows hospital patients to be treated from their home has expanded its number of virtual beds. It means fewer people turning up to our emergency departments and hopefully a reduction in ambulance call-outs as well.
An expanded healthcare service from home, part of the solution to an ongoing crisis.
It's a very complex issue, but this is one step forward. This is part of a total package of reforms.
The hospital at home service now has 10 extra beds. The virtual ward now expanded to 22. The setup sees health professionals visit patients at home, relieving some pressure on our emergency departments and ambulance services.
This again will free up space in the hospital and give patients more choice about where, when and how they are treated.
Patients suffering acute infections, needing complex medication and even heart problems are some of those able to be treated. It's also seeing more elderly people kept away from hospital settings, particularly those with dementia.
Try and support as many older Tasmanians to be able to live in their homes for as long as possible.
It follows an ambulance ramping inquiry fuel to the flame for paramedics who continue threatening industrial action and mounting pressure on our EDs. The state government says it's doing everything it can while continuing to call on the federal government to step up.
4 out of 10 Tasmanians who present at an emergency department are not emergency. And so this goes back to the primary healthcare concerns that the federal government is responsible for.
But with the system already straining under the pressure, it remains to be seen if 10 beds will be enough.
In the near future, we hope to be able to expand our capacity and increase our geriatrics at home beds once we have access to some more resources.
Nonetheless, a start in addressing an ongoing crisis. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A 45-year-old man charged with the manslaughter of escaped prisoner Nicholas Aaron Scott has fronted the Supreme Court for a sentencing hearing. According to the state, David Ian Charles Coles was disorientated after Scott broke a bottle over his head due to paranoia of being caught. Coles then shot him in the chest, causing his death. The court heard the shooting was unplanned and Coles didn't know Scott was at the Black Snake Road property when he visited. He'll reappear in March for sentencing. Tasmania's Office of Racing Integrity has a new director, with Ash Rushton set to take over as General Manager. It's ahead of a big year for government, which expects to implement the long-awaited Racing Regulation and Integrity Bill. Rushton will officially start on Boxing Day, taking over from Justin Hemlick. Cape Barren Island is running out of water with just a few weeks' supply remaining. 15 millimetres of rain during the week providing little reprieve. Up until Tuesday, 75,000 litres of raw water a day was being shipped to the island, but a longer-term solution is needed.
Raw water's okay for toilets and washing. I wouldn't recommend it for your whites. We are looking for solutions that will work for the island.
The community is investigating a desalination plant or drilling bores, but funding will be required. A proposal to give parents power to check whether a person who has regular unsupervised access to their children is on the Sex Offender Registry is now open for public consultation. The Offender Disclosure Scheme also aims to allow police to release personal details of a reportable offender to the community if that person's whereabouts become unknown.
Having a well-managed disclosure scheme is really important as well. So then if your child has unsupervised access and you have concerns about that person, you'll be able to make an application to police.
This is a significant step forward when it comes to protecting the most vulnerable people in our community, and that's our children.
The consultation period ends in February. Well, Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe has rolled up his sleeves to give blood as part of a Christmas period donation drive. The Red Cross expecting a high number of donations from Tasmanians, with many going away for Christmas and New Year holidays. The organisation is reminding people to keep to their schedule to ensure supplies don't dwindle. More information can be found on Lifeblood's website. Travellers are being warned of delays at Hobart Airport, with tens of thousands passing through the terminal this holiday season. Performers brought in to keep travellers in the Christmas spirit.
greeting travellers with the gift of song.
Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square, in the frosty air.
The Hobart Airport pulling out all the stops to make everyone's journeys as merry as possible.
We've got some live entertainment, we've got a ladies' choir here today, we've got kids' entertainment, other performers, just to try and keep things really bubbling along.
An influx of people revelling in the festivities, with terminal traffic taking off to new heights.
We're looking forward to welcoming between 22nd of December and 7th January around 170,000 people. So that works out to be around about 10,000 people, a little bit more, every day.
Staff numbers also on the up, with around 10 extra people on ground to manage the masses.
There will be probably some delays getting through security screening. We make no apology for that. We want to do the best that we possibly can and get the best safety outcome for everyone.
It's good to get here about an hour and a half to 2 hours before. Not too early because check-in isn't open.
Tasmanians and tourists reminded to pack their manners and patience when heading to the airport. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Health Minister has backed a controversial decision to ban Christmas decorations on all Tasmanian ambulance vehicles and paramedics. Guy Barnett says the measure is also to ensure safety in the workplace and community.
If you have an ambulance travelling at speed with Christmas decorations, reindeer ears falling off and hitting other Tasmanians or other vehicles, that's clearly not something that we want.
Labor has labelled the ban a Grinch-like decision, saying the sector deserves better. Well, colourful, quirky and quite impressive. It's well worth a trip to QV Mag at Royal Park in Launceston to admire this high school art. For the 29th year running, Art Rage is putting our young emerging artists and their unique view of the world on show. St Patrick's student Thomas Crack made this by burning plywood.
I just like destroying stuff. I think that it's so therapeutic, and I looked at other artists that didn't really destroy their work but had that element of destruction.
We're really looking at a range of things and trying to show the diversity of students' art practice.
The works are on show until April.
Queenstown has had its say on Tasmania's AFL team as board members made their first stop on the statewide community road trip. Jack Rewalt using his role as club ambassador to encourage West Coast locals to take ownership of the new venture.
This football club's going to provide a sense of belonging, whether you be in Queenstown, whether you be on the East Coast, whether you be north, northeast or south.
They're in Wynyard tonight and Devonport tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the Big Bash, the Hurricanes are confident Riley Meredith will be back bowling in the next few days after sustaining yet another injury, limping from the field in their loss to the Sydney Sixers on home ground earlier this week.
Just disappointed for the lad, you know, a lovely young man who all he wants to do is play cricket with his mates and go out and win games of cricket. He's got a wonderful skill set that is hard to replicate.
It's hoped he will be up for a trip to Perth on Wednesday. And local hopes of winning the Hobart 1000 were dashed by interstate raider Crackerjack Bull, claiming the $150,000 race, overtaking Tassie-trained Ducati Roy at the finish line. It's the first Group 1 win for Crackerjack's Victorian trainer.
You know, when you breed him and whelp him down yourself and with family, it's pretty good.
It's now been 6 years since a local hound has won the prestigious race. And it's a big weekend for the jockeys. Kim playing in Perth tonight before racing home to play Sydney on Monday in Hobart.
Good evening. There were a few light showers in the west this morning and parts of the east coast during the day, with the highest rainfall reported at Mount Reid with 35 millimetres in the gauge. Today, Hobart 19, Launceston 22, Devonport and Burnie both 20. Further across the island, Friendly Beaches also 22, Ouse 21, St Helens and Flinders Island 20, Low Head and Grove 19, 18 for Strawn and Marai Island, 17 degrees for both King Island and Luncheon Hill, Laiweni 14 degrees. Cloud sits over most of Tasmania with patches of high-level cloud passing towards the north. Low cloud is seen across parts of the southeast this afternoon. Thunderstorm activity sits about central eastern coasts. Unfortunately, tomorrow a cold front will cross Tasmania, maintaining fresh westerly winds over the state. With that comes west to northwesterly winds, 20 to 30 knots, shifting westerly during the morning, with swells building up to 4 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued for the entire state tomorrow, to include inland and remaining coastal waters. Showery in Hobart, although likely to ease, 18 to the top. Showers also for Medina, 14, much the same in Oatlands, 16 degrees. A shower or two in Launceston and Devonport, 20. Back to wintry conditions in Lyowini, expecting just 10 degrees tomorrow. Showers and winds extending to the west, 17 for Burnie, Strawn and Marrawar. Partly cloudy in the east, St Helens 22, Swansea 21. Becoming windy in Orford, they can expect a high of 19 degrees. Sunday, light showers expected about the west, fine elsewhere. Monday, statewide showers will return, although less likely in the far northwest coast. Tuesday, showers likely to develop more so in the west and south. Looking further north tomorrow, showers and storms are on the way for Darwin and Brisbane, 35. Partial cloud hanging around in Adelaide and Melbourne, 21. A sunny 27 degrees forecast for Canberra. And currently in Hobart, partly cloudy, 16, much the same in Launceston, 17, and 16 also in Devonport. Apologies once again, Kim, for the weekend forecast. I am just indeed the messenger.
We won't shoot you. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.